What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of this Freakin. I don't know why I keep doing that, Joe. I did that last week, too.
What's that?
I don't know if I spaced on how I did the intros before, but I'm starting out with thank you for listening to another episode of this Freakin' Show, but that's what I say at the end. I can't remember. What did I say at the beginning?
I don't know.
And welcome back to another episode of this Freakin'
Welcome
Show.
back to another episode.
That's what it is. That's what. Great way to kick off the new season. Really is. I'm not redoing it. It is what it is, right?
Agreed.
Right. Trying something new, trying something different. We're releasing video podcasting of our episodes going forward and everything. So I'm really excited about that. Only took us 8 years to get here. So
yeah. Well, video podcasting wasn't as popular 8 years ago, and now it's apparently the thing. So we're giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Riding the back of the wave.
Yeah. We'll figure it out obviously as we go, because I guess, Joe, when you look at it collectively, if you take the years of Geekcast Live and the years of this Freakin' Show, you're talking about 18 and a half years of podcasting. How many video podcasts have you done? Because I know you've done a couple like on location things for Geekcast Live, like at like conventions and stuff.
That's true.
So I guess you would technically count those, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd count them all as their own. Maybe like, one per event or per day or something.
Gotcha.
I don't know, less than 10 total.
Gotcha.
Probably. Well, not including, do we count the, the freaky cemetery tours?
No, I would count those as vlogs.
Okay.
Yeah, more so like, the podcasting stuff where like we're just sitting here, talking and BS and everything, where it's like how do we keep the attention of our listeners, or even now, I guess technically our viewers, our watchers. And I think the best way of doing it is trying to find that balance of me being as far away as possible with you being as close as possible. And I think that's going to be I think that's what's going to be our thing here.
Yeah, I dig that. I also I've got a light that is changing colors all the time, so maybe that'll work. I don't know. We're no Minecraft person doing a speed run while someone reads Reddit over top. But
everything's gonna be trial and error here with us, man. And everything. I dig it. I like what you're doing and everything. When you first came on, I was like, "Damn, am I having a stroke? What the hell's going on?" All I'm seeing is dots and everything. But I like what you're doing. It's unique to you because as Cartoon Joe, you take things and to make it a more of a entertaining, cartoonish kind of way of doing it, obviously with the glasses and what looks like a blazer over a t-shirt.
Oh, it's my, I'm glad you brought up my blazer and my t-shirt. I finally purchased myself a Freaknet Studios t-shirt.
Excellent.
And, let's see if we can get the back of this. Maybe I'll just take it off and show it. I also got myself a hoodie, a zip-up hoodie with the, Secret Society logo on it.
Oh, perfect. Dude, I love that logo so much. I really do.
I do too.
Shout out to Katie, who created that. Actually, surprisingly, back in 2015 when we first started this show out, and we wanted to do a logo contest. And that was one of the entrants and everything. And granted, I don't think I think after a while we're just like, we'll just do our own and just move on to there. I'm glad that kind of stuck around because I really do like that logo. And obviously, being in the Freemasons and everything, it's like, well, hint at the
we are
secret
both
societies.
Freemasons.
Yeah. You're
Illuminati confirmed.
Right, yeah. That, or whatever the hell it is, yeah. I saw something on Facebook actually not too long, probably within the last few days, of your level achievement. I think Paul posted it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my Blue Lightning to master.
I think so. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what we can and cannot talk about with that stuff. I'm not quite sure. So, better than I do.
I don't. Yeah, I figure I'm not really giving anything away as long as I'm not doing like code words or handshakes or whatever. You can just Google the not to give our secrets completely away, but you can just Google the classes or whatever.
I know that
ranks, levels.
Yeah, I know there is a book out there that's like Freemasons for Dummies. It's like, one of those like for dummies books. I believe there is a Freemason one, and I think actually there was some guy who actually wrote the book on Freemasons and gave away all their secrets. I'm not sure whatever happened to that dude and everything. So I mean, obviously the information is out there. But yeah, it's weird because like when people talk to me and things like that always get brought up, like oh, you're a Freemason. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, I don't really talk about it because I'm not really sure what can be talked about. Right. It's like,
and especially when Grandpa, well, I guess I can say this now because they can't get him. But he used to recite the oath for the second degree all the time to us, and it describes this gruesome dismemberment that could happen if you give up any of the secrets. So, yeah,
there was not my favorite story of Freemasonry. And obviously I'm going to do my best to not give everything away. I don't think I will. It's when I went through the Blue Lightning. You were there. I guess you were more like the mentor, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And you were telling me something, and this is how great you are as a secret keeper. You had lips to ear telling me something, and I still couldn't hear you. I just remember you.
Oh no!
I just remember like when we there was one point where you had to do something, and then I had to do something, and you lip to ear said something, and I just whispered back, "What?"
I forgot about that.
So for those of you out there,
I don't even remember what I whispered to you, so I just hear from myself too.
I 100% remember it because you said it twice. So for those of you out there who need to tell a secret to somebody, Joe's the best person to do it because even if he was willing to tell somebody else, they wouldn't hear him.
Not sure how that happens, but it explains so much about my career and. People just don't listen.
We're going into 2024. This coming August would be 9 years of doing this. So I'm really excited to get to that point. And obviously I was looking at the episode count because I know we were discussing last season about, trying to get to the true count of where we're supposed to be at. And I looked at it actually today before we started, and I believe we're about 87 episodes off.
Wow, so that far?
Yeah, dude. There was that big hiatus that we took in 2018 just because I wasn't in a great mindset or whatever the hell it is.
Sure.
And then, there's just, obviously times when life gets in the way or we're on vacation and stuff like that. It's like, we can't do one this week, so we'll do one, next week and so on and so forth. And then, so it's one of the things where, obviously we're progressing forward and, getting them done as, quick as possible, but at the same time, leaving enough space for people to enjoy the episodes as we go through. I think one of the things I really enjoy is the fact that we kind of, manage our time a lot better on our shows too. We're not going to the hour 45s and stuff like we did for a brief period and everything. And I really like the fact that we're keeping it between 45 and an hour. Okay. If you guys noticed, we did change the opening song. I want to say it's what we're going with for the time being until we find something that we really love that we want to keep, permanent for a long period of time. I guess it's not permanent, but to keep around for a long period of time. Because we had Ripley Street, I believe, probably the last 3 seasons. If I had to say that right, I think season 3 was the first time we used it, and it stuck with us all the way up until now. And I love Ripley Street, a great local band that I grew up with. One of my old friends' father was the lead singer of it, and I love the song that we used it for so many years. And
That was wonderful, really great.
yeah, I enjoy it. It's just I know I want to evolve. I know I want to get something new. JFW, I've been using the same song since 2017, and I don't know if I'll ever change that song, but I don't know what my mindset is about it, but for some reason for that song over there, I'm okay with it just being what it is. But over here, I always want to like evolve and and change things and upgrade things and stuff like that. And we're using a song from a website called bensound.com.
Oh, okay, sure.
And
I wondered because it didn't sound like Ripley Street, but I know they change their sound every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this was from Ben Sound. It's a royalty free website where obviously you could pick up royalty free songs to use, and there are ones you can purchase. There is one on there I really do like, but it's a cost one, which the price isn't that bad. It's like $38 US, but it's all like I'm guessing this dude's from like the United Kingdom or something because they're using pounds. It's like 34 pounds for the song or whatever. But the song I liked was a little more like country-ish, and the only reason I think I liked it is because it was actually a song used in the Tiger King movie on Netflix. I was like, nah, I want something a little bit different. And then obviously, Joe, I sent you the two songs, the one that we're gonna use on this show and use forward, and then a different song. But I think I only like the other one just because it says "Shut Up" at the beginning.
Yeah, that was I heard that and I went, oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I liked the music on the one we picked better.
Yes, yeah, it's more upbeat and so it's going to be our song until we find, because I really like the idea of using indie bands, because that's what we used for the first song for Johnny Tryhard. Had created a theme song for us, and then obviously talked to Ripley Street and asked them to use their song Back Again, which is my favorite song by them. And we use that, so I still want to focus more on doing that, and I would love to use one by FN Epic, or his other band? Cody's Dude Band, the guy I interviewed a couple times. One of his bands, I'd love to use one of those, but the metal music, I think is a little bit too fast for me to enjoy as a theme song. If I can find one of their songs that's a little more slow tempoed, I think I could find that. But I love the idea of using indie songs and everything. So, I mean, honestly, if you guys are out there and you're listening and you're an indie band and you're willing to allow us to use one of your songs as a theme song, send it over to us and we'll listen to it. If we like it, we'll use it as a theme song for the season, and obviously we'll plug you in the show notes and everything, and we can talk about it here on the podcast, and we can even have you come on for interviews and stuff, because I would love to put into, I don't know if you remember at Grace's wedding, an idea that we kind of put together, pretty much interviewing your entire family.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I would like to do that this season, at least this year. I mean, obviously, between farmers and doctors and nutritionists and stuff. I mean, there's so many different careers in your family alone. I guess I say my family too. I don't know why I'm separating us. We are related.
Yeah, right.
That I would really be interested in, talking to them and everything. And I do want to get back on track with having more interviews and everything like that. And, bringing back people we've had on, and also bringing in new people that we haven't had. But yeah, it's just, I know season 8 is definitely going to be a change for us, and I think the better. 2024 is already going to be a huge change for us in the better. Not only is this Freakin' show, but obviously Freakin' Studios. And one of the things is this video podcasting and all this stuff. But Joe, what we've been up to, man? How have you been?
What have I been up to? I feel like I've been fine. I'm finally coming out of the funk that I was in the last few weeks or so. And feeling good about that. Yeah, I've just been. Oh, by the way, let me have it somewhere else, don't I? I believe I'm on episode 760 of One Piece.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're doing that thing now.
Yeah. So that's a lot of what I've been doing. I crushed probably 60 to 80 episodes Sunday to Monday this week. I just needed the day off. It was a busy day on Sunday. We had a folk singer into the church and a guest speaker, and we raised some. Raised is the wrong word, but we collected a bunch of donations for a local food pantry, and had the executive director of the food pantry come talk about what they've been up to, what their plans are for this year, how we can help, and then sent them home with 2 big boxes of things plus a couple of checks. And then I know some other people got online during the service and signed up to volunteer or sent some money that way. So it was a good service, but it always takes it out of me when it's something different. And so I kind of just went home and crashed, and then watched a ton of One Piece, and then got up Monday morning, and Monday's my Sunday, so I basically just got up and started watching One Piece and watched it till I went to bed. I enjoyed it. It's a great time. It's good. It's a good anime. I've been taking it easy ever since on it, though, trying to keep it to just 2 or 3 episodes a day. Because they're quick, and I like to watch them. If it's not like any show that you watched as a kid, there are some episodes that clearly have really important plot points, and some episodes that are super boring and have nothing going on. If it's an episode that has nothing going on, I watch it at 2 times speed, so I can get it done in less than 10 minutes. Because I figure it's the easiest way to get through. There's 1,200 episodes now. And so the easiest way to get through that many episodes before the end of the series comes sometime, next year or so. Yeah. I just got to watch a couple of them, at 2x speed.
Yeah. And you said
doing that.
You're about 500 away from getting caught up?
Yeah.
And you did 80 in the last 4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay, dude. I think you'll be fine.
I think I'll make it. I think you'll
be fine.
Yeah, I'm trying not to binge it like that very frequently. So.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get to a point now where once you get through it so quick, you're going to be stuck.
I'm going to be caught up. Yeah, I'm going to be watching it week by week with everyone else.
Jeez.
Which will be honestly a relief. There are so many other things I want to watch, but I can't because I'm stuck finishing this stupid. I'm kind of a completionist when it comes to certain things. And it's there. I have to watch it. Dude, I gotta know where the story is going. So.
Dude, I'm the opposite, man. I am currently watching NCIS, Bones. I just started. What the hell was it? Just started House again.
Nice.
I'm probably watching about 5 or 6 shows at the same time.
Wow. See, I can do that. I don't
know why.
When it's weekly, I will take it. I will say, when Rick and Morty was on earlier this year, I was keeping up with that, or maybe it was late last year. I don't remember, but I know I had finished all the One Piece I could get my hands on, and so when it's weekly, I can watch an episode of Rick and Morty, an episode of Monarch over on Apple TV. Whatever. But when I've got binging to do, I just got to binge the thing.
Yeah, no, these are all streaming watching shit. I'll go to if one day I'm bored, I'm I want to watch, and all these shows are shows I've watched before. I've watched through several times. I guess I'm just kind of set in my ways when it comes to TV shows and stuff. I couldn't tell you how many times I watched Burn Notice through. NCIS stopped, I want to say maybe season 13 or 15 on Netflix. And I think the rest of it's on Paramount Plus. And I'm not getting another streaming service, so I actually own up to current the actual DVDs.
Nice.
So I'm watching those on my TV at home and stuff, but. Now, I'm watching Bones again. I kind of I want to start watching The Office all over again, and It's just, I think it's getting out of hand.
Yep.
I'm binge watching way too many shows, and I know, like, I took one day where I was like, okay, I gotta sit down and I gotta watch, What If, which that took me all of like 4 or 5 hours to watch. It wasn't that long.
It's quick.
Yeah. And I can't remember what the hell the other thing was, but I ended up watching 2 seasons of something. Like a season of What If and a season of something else in like a day, and I can't remember what the hell it was. Yeah, I'm definitely watching way too much TV, like, nowadays.
It's that time of year, right? There's not a lot to do outside, because it's either too cold or too wet or too foggy. So you're just kind of like, well, what are you going to do inside? Yes, you could probably clean your house. I could probably clean my house. I still haven't taken my Christmas tree down. There's things I could be doing. But I don't feel like it. It's winter. I shouldn't be doing anything, is how I feel.
My biggest problem was, and I don't know if you remember or not, but back in 2021, in December of 2021, when my back went out, it's very similar to like now. Like it's the lack of movement and laying around and sitting around that caused my back. And actually, my back has been bothering me now lately again, and I'm not quite sure what it is. It worries me because it feels like it's a spinal thing.
Gotcha.
And like there are points where like I'll be standing by the back door, letting Cooper run around and everything, and then when he comes in, I'll bend down to grab like a treat out of like the container, and it feels like my back's going out to the point where I gotta like kneel or get down to the ground before I fall over. There are times where like I go to like get out of bed and like my back is like stiffened up. Like even just before we got on the show here tonight, I was laying in bed watching, Bones, cause like, okay, I got 30 minutes before we got to jump on. I got 20 minutes left of this show. I'll, finish up real quick. And when I went to go get myself up and stand up, it felt like my back was giving out again. And I had to sit back down and try to like get myself to a certain point. And I was like hunched over, grabbing the wall, grabbing the door frame, getting into this chair and sitting here for a moment, and then I was able to kind of get up and walk away and stuff and go grab, my phone and all this other stuff. And so I think it might be my hip flexors again. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping it's nothing spinal because, obviously when you, when you try to self-diagnose yourself instead of going to, the doctor and, paying the outrageous, bills to figure it out and everything, you come to the same conclusion. Well, it's either, you pulled muscle or it's fucking cancer. Right. There's no in between. I at one point I thought, maybe I have a fractured disc or something like that, because I did read that there are points where you could fracture a disc. And it could be like a slight fracture where, it is painful, but it can heal over time and so on and so forth. But I also read that in order to fracture a disc, you have to have a very aggressive impact onto something. And right. I haven't. So, I think it's just muscles tightening up and all that other stuff. So,
like you were saying before, if you're watching binging a lot of shows, sitting on the couch a lot, it probably is. You're probably just, they're getting used to holding you in a specific position, and then when you stand up or walk or do something else, then it's like, hey, we got used to sitting here.
Yep. So I got my Thermagun, Theragun
sounds right.
Theragun. I got that charging. So when we're done here, I'm going to lay back down in bed and use that on my hip flexors and try to loosen those up. I'm not sure if you see behind me, but I got the Diamond Dozen poster.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, okay.
That's the Diamond Dozen back there. Actually, I have my TV.
The stylization of the D's made me think it was DuckTales, but I couldn't figure out what anything else had to do with DuckTales. So
were you thinking life is like a hurricane?
Mm-hmm. Here in Duckburg.
I'm hoping that if it's just my hip flexors, I'm hoping I get them loosened up and get good and everything. I really want to do the. First off, I don't want to sneeze right now. Okay. Did you see the link I sent you on Facebook about DDP yoga?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, the challenge and everything. I think
Yeah.
I want to sign up for that and see what happens. You know, it's
Nice. Yeah, you should. I was gonna send it to you honestly when it showed up in my Facebook feed.
my only thing is like because I'm not sure if you don't see it, but those are all DVDs right there.
Yeah.
There's a DVD player off camera. I don't use the app. I got the
Oh,
DVDs
you got to
and
use
stuff
the
like
app
that.
to do the.
Yeah, because you gotta record everything through the app. And you know when you sign up for the competition, you get like 20% off of the cost of the app. I don't know what the cost of the app is because I've never used the app.
I forget what it is, but I do use the app. I know it's between $70 and $100
A year? Or,
a year.
God, I hope it's only a year. So you're talking about somewhere, from anywhere from $56 to $80 to no, that's not right. 50. What's 20% of 70? 14. Yeah, 56. So anywhere from $56 to $80. You know, and it's just like I have no reason to use the app because I have the book, I have the DVDs.
Yep.
You know, I like the old school idea of doing it that way, and but at the same time, you know, you can win $250,000 doing it. So, I do want to get back in. Like I said, I do want to get back into the yoga thing. I've been thinking really hard about trying out the 72-hour water fast.
Is it just literally what it sounds like?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Gotcha.
Ooh,
it's worse than I thought. Not worse than I thought, but more expensive than I thought. It's $129.99 for the year.
So 130. So 10% of that is what $26. So yeah, still spending over $100.
That's like $100. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna play this for you real quick. And this kind of explains what the water fast does. This is from a guy on TikTok. It's called his username is called Brecca. So this kind of explains this is one of the guys that I get a lot of like my ideas for dieting and weight loss and everything from. Here.
Happens every few hours as your body goes through a 3-day water fast. Hours 0 to 12 after having your last meal, your insulin is still a little high. Remember, the higher the insulin is, the more resistant you are to insulin. You know, for longevity purposes, we want to be sensitive to insulin. The less insulin it takes to regulate our blood sugar, the longer our lifespan. Hours 12 to 18, this is when the fat burning begins, and the body is beginning to enter a state of ketosis. It's shifting from burning sugars to beginning to burn fats. Between 24 and 48 hours, this process of autophagy, the body turning on itself to become more efficient at waste elimination, repair, detoxification, and cellular division. You're literally cleaning your body out at a cellular level. Incredible increases in mental clarity, energy, alertness. Now, between hours 48 and 54, human growth hormone surges at this point. And it does this to help us repair tissues. So inflammation is being reduced during this same period of time. So between hours 54 and 72, insulin is becoming more sensitive, and autophagy, this process of cellular turnover and regeneration, peaks. After 72 hours on a water fast, there's evidence that your own stem cells are starting to increase in number in blood circulation. What happens every few hours?
So,
interesting.
Yeah, so it's something that I'm definitely interested in looking into and potentially doing. I'm not saying I'm doing it tomorrow, or anything like that. I want to look at a couple more things, just kind of like get a clear idea of like, first off, how you started out. And, obviously I guess the basic 72, is like just drink water and stuff like that. But what interests me the most is obviously the point where you start building energy, alertness, and, the decrease in inflammation and your body start healing itself. Because, I don't want to be in pain anymore, Joe. And I'm not quite sure how to really fix it without, again, going to a doctor. And I got nothing against doctors. I would love to go to the doctor. I should go to the doctor more than I do. My only concern is like walking into a doctor saying my back is killing me. I'm not sure what it is. And them saying, okay, well, let's go take an x-ray. And then ending up with a $1,200 bill because, they took a certain amount of x-rays and only a certain portion of it's covered by insurance. Just to find out that, it's a pulled muscle. You're going to go to physical therapy 3 times a week for, 2 months. And, your insurance only covers 25% of the physical therapy. And honestly, I just don't want to repeat. What happened in December of 2021 definitely terrifies the hell out of me for ever going to the doctor about anything ever again because I don't want to have to sit there and say, oh, cool, I'm getting better, I'm feeling good. Oh, by the way, when it's all said and done, you owe $2,200 in fucking medical bills.
Mm-hmm. That's nuts on account of insurance should insure you against having $2,200 in medical bills.
That's the thing that sucks. It's like I'm paying $300 some a month for health insurance, and I still owe more money on top. It's like people who talk about how like you're paying taxes on things you already pay taxes on. Like it makes no sense to me. It's like if I'm paying all this money, I should be able to get X-rays without any additional cost. Like you should cover the X-rays 100%. To me, it's kind of like taking your car in that has a warranty. It's like if I bring it in and there's nothing wrong, okay, then maybe I do owe something, at least for the checkup, But to me, that's what a copay is.
Right.
If I walk in and say I have a pain in my back, okay, well let's take a look at it, and my insurance should cover that, and I should have to pay a $20 copay or a $50 copay. I'm fine paying a $50 copay to a specialist, and they sit there and tell me what's wrong. The fact that insurances have deductibles where it's like, cool, you owe, you have a $2,000 deductible. You have to pay.
Deductible is the biggest freaking scam.
Yeah, and I hate it. It's just, but it's things like that where it's just like, what's the point of going to a fucking doctor if I'm just going to be broke afterwards? It's like,
for $2,200, you could fly to a country that has universal health care and pay less.
Right. I could live in Canada and be high all day, and who knows, maybe not even
not feeling any pain because apparently it helps with that.
I heard weed helps with inflammation, right, or something like that.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. I am my father's son in that the biggest thing weed does for me is make me tired.
Yeah, I know I've heard something about that, but I don't know. I'm still on the whole idea of the first time I did it, it made me extremely paranoid, and I know if I do it again, my mindset is that it happened once, it'll happen again, and the thing is, and I think we've talked about this and everything, it's like marijuana doesn't automatically put you in a chill mood. It just enhances the mood you already have it.
Right.
So for me, the moment if I was to ever smoke pot again, my whole thought was like, oh God, I remember what happened last time I did this. That's what I know.
You're having the same bad time.
Yep. And now, it's soon up. I'll be laying in my parents' front yard for 45 minutes, wondering if my heart's ever going to beat again. But
that's where like 90% of my experiences with it have been like, I'm at someone's house, I'm having a great time already, and someone starts passing it around in the circle, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, hand it here.
I think if I did it at a later age and I didn't need to worry about drug tests for companies, I think I probably would have been a little more relaxed about it. Sure. I think the idea of like, because the first time I did it, it was still illegal then. So the idea that I'm doing an illegal drug in a van out in public is like one of the things like, okay, well, we got to do this in secret. And okay, obviously we're doing it in secret because no one's supposed to know. So, obviously it's a crime and all that shit. So I think that was like the first, like, if I did it at somebody's house, I probably would have a different like thought about it.
For sure.
But who knows? Maybe down the line, if I ever win the lottery and I don't get
nice if it could get to a federal level of not just what do they call it, decriminalized, but actually like you could have a federal job and still have, a joint once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're checking. I very highly doubt that they're doing tons of drug tests in government jobs.
I doubt it.
I know they do it. I'm sure they do it at the beginning, but I doubt they're doing randoms.
No,
unless they have a reason, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, it's time for your random drug test." But it's you actually can't just interestingly, they have to do a drug test if you wanted to work for the Department of Transportation here in Chicago, if you wanted to be a bus driver or whatever, because it's connected to the Illinois DOT, it becomes automatically connected to the federal DOT, and so it has to follow the same federal guidelines. And so you can't use regularly and drive the bus or train or whatever.
I think I'll be okay with that. I think I'll be okay with public transportation drivers having to be drug tested
for sure
for certain jobs.
My only issue is they can't tell with the drug test how recently you had it.
No,
and so it's just it's kind of silly. If you're not obviously high on the job, who cares? Is how I feel.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I could agree on it too. It's because I know we had this discussion a while back and everything, and people actually talked to me, I think, more about this conversation that we had than anything, because I think this is probably the first time we got very argumentative about something, and I think it was because you misinterpreted something I said.
Probably.
But I don't see an issue with people smoking pot or just enjoying obviously on their personal time and what they do on their their weekends and time off and everything's totally that. Right. Obviously if your whole job is focused on being out on a barge on waterways, being inside refineries that one wrong turn you could crash into something that's catastrophic and stuff like that. Maybe not show up there, high, or I don't know if you can use the word inebriated in the sense of being high or whatever. Yeah. I also think that as long as and again, maybe it's a person's chemical balance or whatever like that, but I think depending on how much you indulge into it, into a one sitting, so I don't know how the effects if they hit you harder the more you smoke. I don't really know. I just know when I did it, I just did way too much because I assumed it was an instant reaction to where it wasn't, apparently. My mind was my tolerance is perfect. Let me hit that right? three more times.
That was a lot of my worst experiences. The first few times I tried it were what would I say? I should have hit it Betty White's character from the Golden Girls. But instead, I hit it like Betty White. So, I don't know. We're a long time out from these decades at this point. Yeah. A decade, a little more. Rob Bass, my good friend over at Geekcast Live, and I used to room together. And after we didn't room together anymore, I would still go to parties at his house and hang out and stuff. And he had it was a PVC pipe that was I believe a 4-inch PVC pipe, in terms of diameter. And it was probably, 4 feet long. And they had it rigged up to where, the only way you could clear the chamber, they had made a bong out of this PVC pipe.
Yeah.
And the only way to clear the chamber was you had to seal the end you weren't inhaling from had to be sealed against somebody else's chest or stomach or something to actually close off the thing so that you could suck all the air out, create a vacuum and suck all the air out.
Yeah.
Smoke out. I have never more instantly thrown up in my life. I cleared that thing and immediately ran to the bathroom and was catching puke in my hands. Not to gross people out, but it was a bad time. And all I remember afterwards is I cleaned myself up, I cleaned the bathroom up, and the next thing I remember is I was awake in my bed at home, and pants were missing. I found them a little while later in the tub I don't know why my pants were in the tub. That was weird. I'm like checking with people, like making sure I didn't my wife was my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, what happened last night? Like, why are my pants off? Why am I at home in bed, like practically naked? And they were like, I don't know. You probably just had puke on your pants or something.
That's what I was thinking this entire time, but I was like, if you had puke on your pants and you washed it off, they'd probably be wet. So my follow-up would have been, are the pants wet? Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but it was a bad time. I've learned my tolerance for that is not as high as my tolerance for alcohol. Which makes sense, because I've been drinking since not drinking, but, you're allowed to drink in my family pretty early.
Yeah, and that was always a weird thing too, is because I mean, drinking underage obviously is illegal. Did that without any fear or worry that something was going to happen, but getting high was definitely like that paranoia thing, and I was like, what the? But I don't know if I'd ever. I probably would if I was to win the lottery and not have to work for a company and be my own boss and everything. And we opened up Freakin Studios and had a building and shit. I'd probably fucking get high in my office.
Yeah, I mean, if you could try it with no consequences, why not?
Yeah, that's it. And and I would do it a recreational way, and I'd have the appropriate amount, and not to overdo it and everything, and blah 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 blah. But just because if I could sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'm rich and I'm in an office, there's no way I could be freaked out at that point. I mean, there's just no fucking way. And at that point, we can start doing videos. I'm like, okay, let's sample this gummy. Now let's sample that gummy, and we'll do a ranking on it and everything.
Speaking of rankings, I have an idea that we need to try later on this year, I think.
And what is that?
So GCR does Dry January. I don't know. Are you familiar with Dry January?
I'm assuming that has to do with not drinking?
Yeah, you don't drink alcohol for the month of January.
Okay.
A lot of people, they don't really drink, but starting at Thanksgiving, they start drinking a little bit more, and then usually Christmas they're drinking a little bit more, and then New Year's they're like hammered, right? They have a terrible time. They wake up, they're hungover. They don't like being hungover. They say, Dry January. I'm giving up alcohol for the month.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, and I think, and I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus. I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything like that. Yeah. But I do think it is a problem in my family, partially because we grow up doing it. I've got a lot of family members who have said to me, like, I can't keep liquor in the house or alcohol in the house or beer in the house because if I open one, I'm going to finish the case.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think I'm an alcoholic or anything, and I don't even think they're alcoholics necessarily, but it's a responsibility thing. It's a realization that as an adult, I don't need to drink the whole case of beer. So I'm only going to get, maybe a sixer and only have it once in a while rather than every night or just keep it on hand. Well, GCR has, he's been working for the company he works for all his whole life. And
is it the same company I know?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a lot of lift and heavy stuff. And if you do it, especially as a young person, especially as a young man, I think not to say that women don't. I do think women are smarter when it comes to lifting heavy stuff because their muscle attachments are different. And so they're not as prone to like just, well, I could lift that.
Yeah. So he's smarter because they let a man do it. No, I'm just
right. I hear you.
Don't write me a letter.
You should just have a man do it, not because of a sexist thing, but because you're smarter than that. And we're dumber than that. It's not sexist to say the testosterone will absolutely make us not think about the risk of lifting that thing in front of a pretty girl.
And more than likely, we would have the hopes that would impress them. But deep down, they're like, you stupid.
Right.
Anyways.
Sure. You know what? There's nothing wrong. I mean, it's not that there's nothing wrong, but there's nothing wrong with being impressively stupid.
That's right.
We've all been there.
That's what I am. That's what I am for every day.
Anyway, he's been doing this for more than half his life. He hurts. you know. And so a lot of his drinking has been, he's told me, he's shared, you know, not privately, but like, you know, it's to mitigate pain, right?
Yeah.
But he's noticed whenever he does dry January, he loses 15 pounds. His skin clears up. He can breathe better. He sleeps better. So this year he is planning, you know, once January is over, he's just going to keep it going. He's going to keep it going until, you know, until he feels like he really wants to have a drink again. And it's like a conscious choice of like, you know what? This is when I assume it'll happen. It's opening day. I'm at Wrigley. I'm going to have a beer with, you know, Uncle Tommy or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And maybe not even then. Maybe because he's in Wrigley, it might be I'm going to have a gummy, and keep rolling off the sober, the dry year, right? Mm-hmm. Until maybe pool season, or maybe, you know, someone's wedding next year, something like that. Anyway.
Gotcha.
One of the things that I would like, one of the things he's talked about is how, like, for example, one of the hardest things about dry January, dry February, whatever, is he and his wife like to, on Friday night, it's their night to hang out, and they will open 2 or 3 bottles of wine and watch movies.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to stay dry and drink several bottles of wine, mm-hmm. right? So he's going to be trying out some different alcohol-free wines and things. And I think the longer this goes on, the more he's going to have to try to find things to substitute in that give you kind of the same feeling, not of being drunk, but of like participating with the group, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hopped on Binny's website this afternoon, and I saw that there are tons of alcohol-free bourbons and gins and tequilas and rums and all this stuff out there. And I think it would be a cool thing to taste. Maybe have GCR on the video and we all taste some cocktails that are non-alcoholic. I think that'd be fun.
I'm on board. I'm totally on board with doing that. I'm going to hate the fact that I'm going to have to suffer through the burn of alcohol without getting the mind-altering.
Yeah, it should just be the flavor.
Yeah, but some tequilas do burn. They do burn going down. Some whiskey.
Non-alcoholic shouldn't though, but I don't know. I've never had a non-alcoholic spirit. I've only had non-alcoholic wine and beer.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I take a shot of whiskey without any burn, I'm pretty much just drinking liquefied barrel at that point.
Yeah, just oak water.
Yeah. It's like Malort that hasn't gone bad yet.
That's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about that. This is literally the first time I'm talking about it.
Because in my mind, it's like, okay, so it's non-alcoholic tequila. So there's no alcohol. That's all well and good. But in order to call it tequila, it still has to taste like tequila. Same thing with like bourbon. I hate bourbon. Jim Beam made that so for me, and I hate bourbon. So if I had to do a non-alcoholic bourbon, so all I'm doing is, if I am consuming the one thing about bourbon I hate is the taste, then it'll be a very interesting thing. But I'm on board 100% to do it. Are you looking on doing like straight up like non-alcoholic bourbon on the rocks, or are we looking at like making like whiskey sours and shit like that? I
was thinking whiskey sours and things, just because we should probably taste it on the rocks. Maybe not on the rocks, maybe as a shot or something, so that it's over and done with.
Yeah.
But I think cocktails. I think doing like let's try a Manhattan with this, or an old fashioned or something that's going to taste like something, because I also think that like it's probably not going to taste right. Even with or without the burn, it ain't going to taste right.
Okay, so I see your idea, and I would like to add an additional one.
Yeah.
So I want to do that. I want to get non-alcoholic liquors, and I want to try them with GCR and you.
Yeah.
I would also like to do one, like maybe following that. Obviously, GCR, if she committed to is no alcohol, probably won't be able to participate. But I would like to make drinks with non-alcoholic and alcoholic liquors and see if we can tell the difference.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to do that too. Like you make a margarita with non-alcoholic tequila and regular tequila and see if you can tell the difference. I would like to do something like that too because
I'm
that would
into
also
that.
be interesting. Yeah, I'm on board with that 100%. Honestly, like I wouldn't mind trying non-alcoholic wines either. I love wine, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I'm guessing it's just Welch's sparkling, but
No, it actually. I've had a few, and they taste very much like regular wine. They're actually pretty good. I'm not sure now. Granted, I will say I haven't purchased them again, but it's just like why would I'm not. How do I want to say it? I'm not sober. I don't care about
like right now or.
I'm not right. Technically, I'm not right now because I had this beer.
How's the head on it, by the way?
Oh, it's gone.
How's it gone?
I finished the whole thing.
Excellent.
It did finally fade, calm down, and become drinkable.
Could that be our segment for the season?
What's that?
Like we have different drinks for different episodes.
Oh, I'm into that.
Because we need a segment for this season. I haven't thought of one yet, but I mean, I know you guys I know once in a while on Geekcast Live, like GCR will say like, "Hey Joe, what's in your cup?" Something like that.
Yeah.
So like "Hey Joe, what are you freaking drinking?"
Yeah. So tonight, what I would be freaking drinking is Hole Punch Dreamsicle, which is an India Pale Ale that tastes like dreamsicles from Hitchhiker Brewing Company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I believe.
Awesome.
So it's delicious.
I'm drinking a Coke Zero,
nice.
which is weird because as you were talking about, the dry January and everything, it dawned on me that I haven't had a drink since December 30th.
Nice. I think same. I think this is my first. No, it was December 30th. Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Yeah, because I think the last time I had alcohol was when I was with Colin and Michelle, and we went out to Mantino, and I think that was the last time I drank because I really don't drink at home. I mean, I know I mentioned I love for that to change because I wanted to start doing more get-togethers and stuff at the house. I don't drink as much as I used to, so
me either.
But I'm on board. I don't. When you guys starting up Geekcast Live again?
So we were going to record plugs as we record tonight last night.
Gotcha.
But a moving truck went down the alley by Rob Bass's house and caught his internet cable because it was coming up over the truck.
Yeah.
And not only ripped the internet cable out of the wall, but also ripped his gutter off his house.
Jesus.
So hopefully that's repaired for us to record our plugs next Wednesday. So we're just going to be off by a week. So we may or may not record an episode while we record the plugs next on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But if we don't do that, then it'll be the following week.
Gotcha.
So we'll end up recording probably on the 13th and releasing on the 17th.
Well, touch base with GCR, see what he wants to do, and we'll plan something out. Luckily, we have an amazing sponsor that can allow us to do stuff like purchase non-alcoholic alcohol, which is a weird way of saying something, but I mean, it is what it is. Right. And I guess before we end the show, I got to remind everyone that our show is still sponsored by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs. Whether it be graded or raw, Carter Comics has got them all. Actually, as of 2024, because of the updated stuff that Carter Comics was doing, they got everything nailed down to one eBay account now. So there's no longer four different eBay accounts. It's all consolidated down into one eBay account, and that link is still on their homepage at CarterComics.com. And of course, you can still buy your comics through their website. They're adding new titles weekly now, so they're building the availability on their website as well as their eBay account. And yes, our discount code of FreakNet will save you 10% still, either on their website or on eBay. So check them out. And if for some reason you happen to want a comic or a title that they don't have, reach out to them and see what they have. Like I said, they have thousands of titles that they still have yet to put up, and they're putting up on a weekly basis now. Make sure you check out our Facebook page because so far so good, knock on wood, but I'm going to try doing the comic pick of the week. So you kind of so we showcase like a comic and everything. And again, like I said, our discount code is used more. You can use it more than once. So if you go there tonight, buy up some comics, and you decide next week you want some more comics, the discount code will still work. 10% off your entire purchase. Buy $100, it's only going to cost you $90. It's math.
Nice. The more you spend, the more you save.
Exactly. So, so go GCR, find out when he wants to do it. We'll figure out a time to get together. Who knows? Maybe I could talk to one of the local bars and stuff, and maybe we could shoot this on location there and something like that.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get some figured out. I'm totally on board doing it. I'm on board with it. Whatever gets us more content. That's the biggest thing. If it's content, I'm on board 100%. I look my overall goals. And I know we mentioned it at the end of last season, but the overall goals obviously is more content onto the YouTube channel. That's why we're doing video podcasting, and as well as doing more of those rankings and taste tests and all that shit. And I'm on board 100%. We're gonna start doing a little more traveling this year. We're gonna go check out some places and eat at some popular places or some. I don't know a better way to say it, but like hole in the wall places of small towns. I really want to do more of that.
Oh yeah.
I want to go visit some bars, whether it be like old vintage bars or dive bars. I just want to, like, if we could travel, have a good time, spend some time together, even if we were to bring somebody along with us and go on that, like, that's the stuff I want to do. That's what 2024 is all about, on top of, obviously, the new podcast coming out in around Easter, the end of March. Big things for Freaknet Studios and This Freakin' Show, guys. So make sure you stick around with us as we continue to grow and start doing new things. But we'll keep some of the classics, obviously. We're going to keep around This Freaky Show throughout the month of October. Freaky Cemeteries are going to happen in Michigan. We're hitting Michigan this year. We're doing the vlogs. I guess we'll be filming in September. We already got the travel planned out and everything. It should be pretty good, probably even better than Wisconsin's. We found a town that we're staying in. I found a restaurant we could go to. I'm really excited to try out that place as well. And all of this is due to CarterComics.com. And we can't thank them enough for everything that they have done for us and the commitment they have to us. And hopefully, we have shown our commitment to them as well. So make sure you go to CarterComics.com. Fill up your cart with all their amazing comics, whether it be graded or raw, and use our discount code 10% because it will save you on your purchase. Freaknet will save you 10% on your order, whether it be their website or their eBay account. Another thing we're going to keep, and tradition at this point, is finding out what Joe's freaking thinking about.
So you would think, with my screed at the beginning, that I would be freaking thinking about One Piece. But I did do something else this week. I powered through the worst book I've ever read, in my opinion. This isn't to say that other people wouldn't like it. Lots of people love it. They think it's one of the best books they've ever read. An author I particularly enjoy said that it's exactly what readers are looking for in a book.
Yeah.
The book is The Promise of Blood by, I believe it's Brian McClellan. I'm going to double check here real fast. It is, I will say it's a very cool premise.
Mm-hmm.
It is, it's high fantasy, but it takes place, yes, Brian McClellan, The Promise of Blood. It's the first book in a trilogy called the Powder Mage trilogy. And, where a lot of fantasy takes place in sort of the Middle Ages. It's kind of, swords and spells. This is muskets and magic. So there's still wizards and stuff, but it's more like Industrial Revolution times. And there's a specific type of magic user called a powder mage, mm-hmm. who they're able to manipulate the energy that is locked inside gunpowder. So it allows them to shoot farther and more accurately with their guns. Yeah. They're excellent soldiers, excellent marksmen. And they basically, what happens is one of these powder mages decides that it's time to end the age of kings in his country. And so he orchestrates a coup. And then it is just the basically the 6 months that follow the coup, and there's betrayal and lies and love and hate and all of this stuff. It is very much a classic fantasy novel. I just didn't enjoy it, but I think many people would love it. And so if you're looking for a new read, maybe it's the new year, you're looking for something fun to enjoy, maybe consider picking up Promise of Blood. If you wanted to, I believe our Audible link is still available. I know we don't usually throw it out there anymore because we figure most of you have already done it. But maybe you've canceled your Audible and you want to sign up again, because I've done this many times where if you are off of Audible for a couple of months, you can reuse the link. And I assume that people get credit. So go to audibletrial.com/freaknet and pick yourself up a copy of Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, and you might really like it. So you might hate it as much as me. If you do, leave us a review somewhere and tell us how you felt about it.
Yeah. You can comment right there on Podbean if you listen to it on Podbean, or on our Facebook,
Yep, absolutely. So what about you? What are you freaking thinking about?
Actually, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I've been thinking about possibly reading a little bit more.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, like what my idea is with 2024. Obviously, the first thing has been the weight loss and the health. I was trying to get into a better mindset and everything. Obviously, drinking soda, whether it be, Coke Zero, regular Coke and everything, soda's not good. I want to get away from that. So I'm trying to work on, obviously the more healthier mindsets and everything. That's why, again, at Diamond Dozen Up Monday, I'm going to get back right into DDP yoga. I'm going to try again and commit to, I found myself finding it easier to wake up in the mornings again. So I want to ride that, that success and get back into doing DDP yoga in the morning. So, I gotta go shopping this weekend. I'll probably do that tomorrow and, get some stuff from the grocery store. But mentally, I want to try to do better things too. And I know one of the biggest things that I've read constantly that helps is staying away from screens like an hour before you go to bed. And I figured one of those ways I could do that is maybe reading before I go to bed. And, I think the book I'm going to start with, actually, I think I got it right here. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Oh yeah, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Very nice.
Yep. My I got this as a gift. Probably the year it came out. So I don't remember how long ago that was. But I think I'm gonna start reading more. I know it's been like a long time. I don't even know. But it's still in great shape, but that's because I never really read it. 2010. So, nice. I got books that I just never read. So I got that, Demon of the Water. There's so many books. I guess not so many, but I got about a dozen books that I just leave here on my shelf in hopes that when people walk in, it's like, oh, I guess he does have some literature.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm going to start reading at night and stuff before I go to bed, like maybe a chapter or whatever, and just, read a chapter before I lay down and go to bed, and then get up in the morning and do my yoga, make sure my lunch is put together and stuff. And I really want 2024 not only to be a growth, obviously for Freakin Night Studios that I've been talking constantly, but also a growth for myself. And, I'm hoping as, people see us here, like they see me kind of go like this. Also I get my beard trimmed up. It's just a mess. But yes, I want to do some more reading. I know a lot of people have like goals of like I'm going to read X amount of books a year. I think you said isn't one of GCR's like New Year's resolutions like reading a book a month or a book a week or whatever. Book a week. How's he doing on that, by the way?
I believe he's keeping to it, but he has the advantage of he drives all day, and so he can just throw on an audiobook.
Okay. I'm
not trying to undercut his achievement. I'm just saying it's harder to sit and read than to do other things and listen.
Yeah.
for me personally.
I need to read the book, because even when I'm listening to like podcasts on my way home. Oh, which by the way, for the Babes of Lore, the most recent episode I listened to was about ghost ships and all that stuff. The fact that you guys brought up the Edmund Fitzgerald and was curious about the lake is sinking and all that stuff. Me and Joe did a show about that back in November. So, make sure you go listen to that episode and I can educate you a little bit about the Edmund Fitzgerald. How dare you? But if I'm listening to something while I'm driving, my mind is going 100 different ways. Just because I'm just trying to think of cool things, whether it be wrestling related or JFW related or this freaking show related or Freakin' Studios related or, what I'm going to have for dinner, what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow, what do I want to have for breakfast the next day. Like, it's just random. So if I was to do audiobooks, I could play them, but I won't focus on them. So I think for me, I actually have to like read it, which, I did it. So, yeah.
Nice.
I read the Phantom Toll Booth, so I can read other things.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah, so books of myths and misconceptions. So yeah, so I'm focused more on trying to read more. So I don't know why I almost said I'm trying to learn to read. I'm trying to read more, actually read a book. So, hey Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if one episode a week isn't enough for our listeners, where can they go to find Cartoon Joe?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can usually find me over the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Excellent. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or I guess is it X now?
It's X now, yeah. X, formerly Twitter, I think a lot of people say.
That's like the official name. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or X. That's by searching This Freakin' Show. Make sure you listen to us on iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, Podbean. I think I mentioned it, but Google Podcast is going away. And I may have been wrong. I don't know if I know I mentioned it over on JFW incorrectly. In case I said it incorrectly here, I know I said at one point Google Podcast is going away and it's moving to Amazon Music. It's not. It's going away and moving to YouTube Music.
Oh.
So, yeah. So if you listen to us on Google Podcast, April 4th, Google Podcast is going away and all podcasts can be found on YouTube Music. So if you listen there, make sure you are subscribed, at least up until April, then it moves over to YouTube Music. But we are also on Amazon Music, we're on Spotify, we're on Podbean, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, that's where we're at. Just search us, just find us, and if it asks you, give us a rating, give us a review, make sure you subscribe and everything. And obviously, 100%, make sure you're following Freakin' Studios over on YouTube, because that's where the video podcast will be released. And I look forward to bringing on some guests and doing some interviews with everyone. And of course, based on their preference, if they prefer audio only, we will only do audio only. So it's not going to be a mandatory thing for their video. But me and Joe will do our best here to bring you guys as much content as possible in 2024 because you deserve it.
That's right.
So, guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Travesty.
I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.